You finally got Mornye. Well, good for you. That moment where the pull animation fades, the dopamine hits, and then 5 seconds later, a much more dangerous question appears. Now what? Do you burn your hard-earned corals on her Sequence 1, or do you funnel everything into her signature weapon and call it a day? This single decision has quietly split the player base because both options are strong, both feel correct, and both promise to push Mornye deeper into the meta. So before you commit to anything irreversible, let's slow this down and actually talk through what each option really gives you in real gameplay. Yo, welcome back to the channel. Kamusta sa inyong lahat? Out of the box, Mornye is already an elite tier support. In the current state of the game, she sits comfortably beside Shorekeeper in the Buffbot Queen conversation. Even at Sequence 0 with a standard weapon, she already brings reliable healing, strong team utility, and meaningful damage contribution through her liberation. That baseline strength is important because it means neither her Sequence 1 nor her signature weapon is fixing a broken character. Both are amplifiers. The real question is which amplifier changes your team more. Before we go deep, if you are running low on Asterites or Lunites, you can check out my LootBar link in the description and pinned comment. LootBar offers up to 25% discounts, plus an extra 10% off when you use my link. It is widely used by WoWA players, has strong Trustpilot ratings, and supports DIY top-ups on your PC or mobile, where you get the discounts without sharing your password. Just log into LootBar, purchase, and then you go to their online DIY top-up page to complete the transaction yourself without giving anyone your password to do it. This week, you can get a $17 discount on LootBar's 6400 plus 1600 Lunite promo, which began yesterday. If you are already planning to top up and save big, LootBar is a straightforward and secure way while supporting the channel. With that out of the way, let's get back to it. Let's start with the more tempting option for most players, her signature weapon. On paper, it looks incredible, and honestly, it kind of is. The biggest selling point is how much easier it makes Mornye to build. Hitting the 260% energy regeneration threshold becomes significantly less painful. Her signature weapon gives a massive 77% energy regen substat, which is a huge jump compared to Discord's 51%. That difference alone saves you multiple echo rolls. With her signature weapon equipped, you can realistically run one energy regen 3-cost echo and use the second slot for defense percent instead. From there, you just need your echoes to cooperate and roll energy regen a few times. This alone makes her feel smoother to play, especially for players who do not enjoy living in echo hell. The passive effects also synergize extremely well with her kit. The weapon increases defense percent, which directly scales both her healing and her liberation damage. On top of that, every time she heals an active Resonator using her off-field healing, she restores Concerto energy and grants a 20% crit damage buff to the active character for 4 seconds. That sounds small until you remember how frequently Mornye heals. In practice, this buff has very high uptime and feels almost automatic. Heal once, buff appears, numbers go up. So if we stop here, the signature weapon looks the obvious pick. Easier build, smoother rotations, strong stat synergy, and a clean crit damage bonus that fits neatly into almost any team. But this is where Mornye's Sequence 1 quietly enters the room and changes the entire conversation. At first glance, Sequence 1 does not look flashy. You get interruption immunity during her basic attack wide field observation mode. In real combat, this is subtle. You will not suddenly feel immortal, but it does make her field time more stable and slightly less annoying. You also get a 150% extension to the interfered marker duration. This more than doubles its uptime, and while the base duration is already workable, the extension makes rotations far more forgiving. But none of that is the real reason Sequence 1 matters. The real value of Mornye's Sequence 1 is that it unlocks interfered marker damage amplification even when Lynae is not on the team. This is massive. Without Lynae, you normally lose access to tune shifting and tune interfere, which means no interfered marker and no amplification. Sequence 1 removes that restriction. You still lose the tune break response damage, which can be around 200,000 or even more depending on investment, but you retain the damage amplification itself. This fundamentally changes Mornye's role. She stops being a support that peaks only in Lynae teams and becomes a universal damage amplifier who raises the ceiling of almost any composition. That amplification can reach up to 40%, and this is where we need to be very clear about something. 40% damage amplification is stronger than 20% crit damage. The reason is simple. Damage amplification multiplies everything, as long as your active resonator already has reasonable crit stats. Crit damage, on the other hand, is still at the mercy of crit rate. If your crit doesn't land, the buff does nothing. Once you've already hit the 260% energy regen threshold, Mornye's Sequence 1 becomes a plug-and-play damage increase that doesn't ask questions and doesn't care about RNG. So now we split into scenarios. If you have Lynae and you plan to permanently pair her with Mornye, you technically can skip Sequence 1 and go straight for the weapon. Lynae can still apply tune shifting and tune interfere, which means you can still access the interfered marker without needing Sequence 1. In that specific setup, the signature weapon looks very attractive. Everything changes the moment Lynae is not present. Without Lynae, Mornye without Sequence 1 loses access to that damage amplification entirely. At that point, you are relying purely on healing, defense scaling, and a 20% crit damage buff. That is still good, but it is not meta-defining. With Sequence 1, she keeps the interfered marker and the amplification regardless of team composition. That flexibility is what actually raises her long-term value. Thus, if you don't have Lynae, better get that Sequence 1. And that means if you plan to use Mornye in Mono Fusion, you know it, you need her Sequence 1. Now let's talk about the scenario where you have Lynae, you pulled the signature weapon, and then you also decided to get Sequence 1. This is where Mornye stops being strong and starts being unfair. The interfered marker damage amplification stacks cleanly with other damage amplifications and crit damage buffs already present in the team. When you layer Lynae, Mornye's signature weapon, and Mornye's Sequence 1 together, the result is a noticeably higher damage ceiling across the entire roster. In practical terms, this translates to shaving around 10 to 12 seconds off clears in high-end content like the top floor of the middle tower in the Tower of Adversity. That's not a small optimization. That's the difference between a comfortable clear and a reset-heavy run. So where does this leave us? If resources were infinite, the answer would be simple. You want both. The weapon smooths her build and rotations. The Sequence 1 unlocks her full damage amplification potential. Together, they turn Mornye into one of the most oppressive supports in the game. But if you have to choose, the priority is clear. Mornye's Sequence 1 comes first. It offers a stronger, more universal damage increase, frees her from Lynae dependency, and raises the team's damage ceiling in a way that crit damage alone cannot replicate. She's already strong at base. Sequence 1 is what pushes her from strong to indispensable. As always, if this video resonated with you, please leave a like and subscribe. Ring that bell for massive gacha luck and maybe a sandwich. Thank you so much for watching. Maraming salamat po, and I will see you in my next video drop. Goodbye!